Hey everyone, Dan from fbgeeks.com here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Montegrappa Espressione, and this is their second most affordable fountain pen they offer. It's a really good introduction to Montegrappa pens, and I was actually surprised by just how good this pen is. It retails for $295, and you can actually buy it for about $235, around that price range. But the next closest affordable pen that Montegrappa makes is $150 more expensive, and then the rest of their lineup is around $700 to $1,000+, and then of course you have their limited editions that run for multiple thousands of dollars. So I was really anxious to see the quality of this pen and see how good of a writer it was. In short, I think if there's anything about this pen that you're interested in or you want to get into Montegrappa, you're not going to be disappointed with this. It has a lot of really good qualities to it and a few things that I think they could improve on. So let's take a closer look at it and find out what they were. The Espressione comes packaged appropriately for a pen in this price range. There's nothing special here. You get your outside sleeve that's sort of the introduction to the pen, a nice kind of taupe colored box, very soft to the touch with a booklet inside. It's pretty thick. Of course, it has translations for 5 or 6 different languages in it. The warranty instructions are in there, the filling and care instructions, and then you have the packaging of the pen and the cartridge and converters. Here you have the international size cartridges with Montegrappa foil stamped into them. It's a nice little detail. And the pen here has a sleeve on it with Montegrappa stamped on top of that, so the branding is all over the place, which, I mean, you can't blame them for that. And if we pull the pen out of here and take a closer look at it, the cobalt blue resin this pen is made from is absolutely stunning. It also comes in green, black, and brown. And I think the blue is definitely the most vibrant. The color and depth is really stunning. They also use it in the top of the cap and the end of the barrel to sort of accent the pen, and I think it's a really good choice. If we take a closer look at the top of the cap here, we'll see the Montegrappa script above the clip, and it's filled in with a black enamel. And then the top of the cap there is kind of scalloped a little bit. And looking at the cap band, it has the Greek frets there, and those are also filled in with a black enamel. It's a little blocky. That's kind of the styling of the pen. The clip, nice and strong. It'll definitely stay where you put it. It has the roller ball on the end, and then there's threads on the end of the barrel where the cap can post. Let's head back to the cap and remove that, which is pretty simple. Only takes 1.5 rotations. And if we focus here, I'll go ahead and post the cap, which does so in only about 1 rotation. I mean, the threads are pretty thick, easy to operate, and in the hand, the pen feels really good. Total weight is about 42 grams. Without it posted, it's very light. I think posting it adds a little bit of weight to it and just makes it a little bit more comfortable. Taking a closer look at the nib, it's a number 5 stainless steel nib with a really good design. It has the Greek frets along the profile of the nib with the Montegrappa script stamped in the middle and the nib size at the bottom. It fits this pen very well. The size is a little small for my taste, but overall with the pen, I think it looks really good. Let's go ahead and remove the barrel and take a closer look at the filling system. It is a cartridge converter, and it includes a Montegrappa branded threaded converter. Now you'll see inside there that it has something a little different, something we usually don't find inside most converters. And I'll go ahead and remove it so we can take a closer look at it. But it appears to be just a tightly coiled piece of wire, and it freely travels in there when the pen is filled. And what it's supposed to do is keep ink flowing from the converter to the feed. Sometimes ink has a tendency to get stuck in the converter and it can't get to the feed, which interrupts the flow to the nib and creates poor performance while you're writing. The converter screws in very well. It makes a solid connection. It operates well and just feels like it's a little higher quality than most other converters that I've used. So now it's time to check out the most important part of the pen, and that's how well it writes. And this pen writes very well. I mean, right out of the box, the flow is as neutral as any pen could be. I mean, not dry, not wet. If there was a standard for flow, I think this pen would set it. I would really like to see every pen adjusted just like this pen was. I think it would just really please everybody. It was smooth. I didn't have any problems with scratching or feedback. The flow was consistent. There was nothing wrong with consistency or hard starts. I was just really impressed. And you can see there's a couple spots here where the pen skipped, but that's the first time I've experienced it, and I think it's probably this Rhodia dot pad paper. The one thing you do need to be aware of though is the width. I selected a medium nib for this pen, and it writes more like a fine. You saw the nib stamped M earlier in the video, and to compare it to a few other pens, I'll start with the Lamy 2000M. This is a fine nib, and we can see that it's a little bit thicker. This pen also writes quite a bit more wet than the Montegrappa, so take that into consideration. Here's an Omos 360 with a medium nib. Now that's almost twice as thick as the Montegrappa medium. And here we have a Levenger fine nib, which is at least the same width, if not a little bit thicker. So this is something you definitely need to take into consideration if you're considering purchasing this pen. I would contact your Montegrappa dealer and ask them about the widths. So there you go, a pen from Montegrappa that's both easy on the eyes and the wallet. I was a little surprised. Like I said, it turned out to be a really good pen. I don't think it's a pen for everyone. It's not something that I could recommend, like say the TWSBI 540 because of its affordability, or the Lamy 2000 because of its sheer awesomeness. But if you're interested in this pen, I think you're gonna like it. Just take into consideration the nib width. Be sure to contact your retailer and ask them specifically about that. But other than that, if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below and head to our website for the full written review where we get into a lot more detail about this pen. And if you are considering a pen like this and you're a little unsure, just remember, always indulge.